Now then, people, it's Joe, Leeds TV, giving you your Millwall post-match reaction. Well, we come away with a point, and I'm over the moon about that, regardless of the performance, regardless of how the game panned out, especially the first half. Listen, we come away with a point from Millwall. It's a great result. We're still top of the league. We're still the only undefeated. Well, we weren't prior to this game, but we are the only undefeated team left in the league, and we're still top, and to go there and how the game panned out, you've got to be happy with the point, an 89th minute equaliser from Jack Harrison. More on that a little bit later. I thought it was an unreal finish. Was I surprised to see him leading the line when the subs were made? Yes, but listen, in Bielsa we trust, and it showed today. I was one of them people. So like when the sub went and you brought Dallas on for Roberts, and then put Harrison up top, I was like scratching my head, and I think a lot of people, we have a group chat, and we were of the same thinking. But look, Harrison scores the goal that gets us the point. We come away from Millwall. We go into the next games now, buoyed up from that result. Hopefully have a few more back. I don't think we will, because they're a couple of weeks away. But, we've come away from there with not the best 11 we could put out if we had a full, a full fit team. But we've come away with a point, And what happened to Zlatan? He got took off. So there you go. And there's been some funny bits come out since the game's finished, but I'll touch on them a little bit later on in the video. But what I am as well, I think some Leeds fans, we get a point, and I've seen, we were shocking, we were this, we were that. I don't think that's the case. Millwall's a hard place to go. We've come away with a point. There was times, listen, Tyler Roberts, for example, I don't want to hammer him too much, but if that's Kamar Roof, we're winning comfortably. He had 3 or 4 opportunities where he, they should be going in. That header, for example, in the second half, which has come over to him, and he sort of like knocked it back to the keeper. It was terrible. He had so much time, maybe a bit more match fit, a bit more game time. He knows that and is able to take it down and maybe place it better. But yeah, there's times in the games. So let's not say it was the worst performance just because, we haven't ran out 3-4-0, or, sometimes you can still perform okay. And I think, like I say, them people who say it was a bad performance, had Roof played and we scored them chances, is it so bad? I think not. But, you put in what you think. Like I say, Monday Night Football with me. So make sure you get your comments and stuff put in the video, because I like to reply to them, both positive and negative. But touching on the game, first half, it was minging at times. I thought, I didn't think anyone would play as boring as what Borough do, but for me, Millwall were fecking worse. There were times in that game, it was like watching pinball. It was just bouncing from one end to the next. It was like being back in school, playing school football, when it just goes up in the air, like, winner, bang, winner, bang. That's what it was like at times. It was shocking. What I did like, though, and when I'm watching the game, I'm making me notes and stuff. I like that we stood up to them, We didn't freeze. 30 minutes in, I thought, you know what? They've been on top for quite a lot of this. But end of the day, if you compare it to last season, we sort of in that atmosphere we shrunk. We went in and on ourselves. Whereas if you look at the performances of some of the lads today, some of the challengers, some of the 50-50s, they were well up for it. So that's one thing I will say for them. And you can only be happy with that, It's a difficult place to go. Listen, I'm reading now after the game that when they got off the bus, they were getting spat at and all sorts. Do you know what I mean? It is a naughty atmosphere. And they are minging. I want to come to it, like Millwall supporters fan club has come out and tweeted about Samu Saiz running the length of the pitch to have a go at Neil Harris and his fucking coach, because they had a go at him, You've seen it in that second half. They had a go at him, and Bielsa even got involved, which I was buzzing to see. They'd obviously had words with him because he was incensed. So rightly so, when we go and score, he's gone and had a go. But for Millwall of all clubs to come out and say what sanctions are they going to face, this is coming from the team that when you're reading now, right, okay, are singing shit about about what happened in Istanbul. They wear Galatasaray shirts at their, to games. You know, we've seen it all before. And they won Fan Club of the Year. I went last year and on their tickets they won Fan Club of the Year. So I was about the EFL and yous look at yourselves on about saying, oh, you know, what sanctions? You need to sanction your own lot. Do you know what I mean? Spitting at players, singing about Istanbul, and you're whinging about a lad who's, you know, who to be fair, he's not got the best temperament, but if they've had a go at him and had a word in his ear, you know what I mean? Then rightly so, for me, he's allowed to go and have a celebrate, do you know what I mean? So, and it makes me laugh that they've even tried to entertain that fact on Twitter, you know what I mean? So, but it won't surprise me if the Football League do get involved and he gets himself a ban, you know what I mean? Because it's us. But yeah, rant over. I just thought it was laughable that they even tried to entertain that tweet. But back to the game. So, sorry, I went off on a bit of a tangent there. Roberts, he had 3 or 4 chances. He needs to score them. Like I say, if Roof is on that pitch, we come away comfortable winners. I genuinely believe that. There was a few chances where he sort of fluffed his lines, put it down to what you want. Maybe he's just not at that level. Maybe it's game time, but that header for me was a bit of a shocker. He sort of passed it back to Amos. You know, there was a few, and another player that frustrated me, and then towards the end of the game I start to think maybe he's not had such a bad game because he's running, you know, from one end of the pitch to the other, and he's putting in last-ditch challenges, especially towards the end. Is Alioski, like, offside again. I think I'm going to start chalking it off on a little tally chart how many times that guy's offside. It's so frustrating. For me, a player at that level, any sort of professional player shouldn't be offside that many times. Once or twice maybe in the odd game, but it's every game now. You know what I mean? It is every game is offside at least once. And sometimes it's not even close. We as fans in the stands can see it, do you know what I mean? So he needs to sort that out. And even still, like, there was a time towards the end of or it might have been the start of the first half, he had a chance to play Douglas through, and he makes a stupid decision and has a shot at goal, and it goes flying wide and over the bar. So for me, you know, his decision making at times, but then towards the end of the game, when they were, you know, trying to score a late winner after we'd equalised, he was all over the pitch. Do you know what I mean? And he's throwing himself in challenges, and he is a bit of a workhorse, Alioski. But listen, like, their goal as well, for example, like, if I touch on their goal, we're always going to struggle against that sort of play. Bielsa's come out in the press conference and said since, you know, that, you know, they look for set pieces, they look for throw-ins, they look for corners. We, as a team, we have to realise the fact that we are just going to struggle against that. Do you know what I mean? That's just a fact. And, you know, it drops favourably to one of their players in the box, and they put it in the net. You know, there was when we were ones apiece, similar sort of situation happened, and they hit the post. You know what I mean? Any team really for me is susceptible to that style of play. You know, when it is sometimes a lottery when balls go banging into the box. Do you know what I mean? So we just have to accept that fact. That I'm willing to accept that fact that we will struggle against these teams. Preston are probably going to set up similar on Tuesday. I think we'll beat Preston though, and then we go on. It's been a while really. It seems that we've played someone who wants to come and play football, like your Derbys and your Norwich, and we know what we did to them. So maybe this is what we're in store for. You know what I mean? These sort of teams that are going to set up like that. But listen, you don't go to the Den every week. You don't play Middlesbrough every week, for example. So, and who subsequently lost today, as I say, we're the only unbeaten team in the league, and they went to Norwich and lost 1-0. And we battered them 3-0. We all know how it went down there. So, you know, we're still top of the league. You've got to be happy with that. One thing I will say, what I do love about Bielsa is his substitutions. Like, listen, you question them. Don't get me wrong. Like when he brought on Dallas for Roberts and he puts Harrison up top. But what and like for example when he's taken you know click off and he's also brought Forshaw on and changed the back line because he was playing with 3 at the back in the early parts of the game. He's not afraid and he has reason to not be afraid. You know, he's one of the best coaches that's ever been, but he's not afraid to change it up. And I go back to that thing when he brought off Phillips after 20 odd minutes and we you know we come away with there from a point and he will change it, do you know what I mean? So it's so frustrating at times where we've been in the past, just watching any sort of football, even England, for example. You watch them and you can see that something needs to be done and they leave it too late, you know, they'll bring someone on. I go back to, say, like Rashford when we were under Hodgson, going out to Iceland, and you sit there thinking, just change it, just do something. Bielsa's the coach that does that. You know, some of us might look at it, and I guess, well, the majority obviously, because I know I did, when he brought on Dallas for Roberts and put Harrison up there, I was like, what's going on? I even, like, wrote down, like, a little emoji, like, what's this? But listen, who are we to question the master that is Bielsa? Because, look, he ends up coming up with the winner, just Harrison playing in that position. So, you know, you can't really question, and I do like that he goes about and wants to change the game. Do you know what I mean? So, we shouldn't really question it, really, should we? It should just happen. You know, we should just respect and expect that these changes are going to come, and when they do going to come, we're probably going to gain something from it. I thought the ref had a good game as well. I think, especially in their place, there was a few that sometimes maybe were questionable, but we get them, or we could easily have shied away from making the decision, and you know, shied away from giving us a free kick. So I thought the ref had a solid game. Yeah, Steve Morrison got subbed off, which was nice to see. I don't know what happened to his Zlatan. But yeah, that was nice to see. And I've touched on, obviously, Bielsa having a go at their bench. He's come out now and said since, shouldn't be doing that stuff at my age, but it's just quality to see, everyone goes on about his bucket and how he sits on this bucket, but listen, if he needs to have a go, he needs to say what, have a go at the plays, he will do, and it was quality, whatever got said to Saiz. And when they were keeping hold of the ball, for example, in the technical area, when they were ones up, he wasn't afraid to get up out of that seat and have a go. And like you say, these Millwall fans who think that, they go on like they're solid, you know what I mean? That guy's, he's from Argentina, that sort of stuff. You see programmes, the sort of stuff that goes on in South America between fans, that's some real stuff, not being little scumbags spitting at players as they get off a bus, But again, I go back to that tweet, and I'm just buzzing to say, we've come away with a point, against them horrible Millie scum, singing, like I say, it's all come out now that they were singing about, Istanbul and stuff like that. So I'm just over the moon that we've come away with something. We'd have all liked to have run right, and maybe if Roof's fit, we do. But ultimately, we are still undefeated. We're the only undefeated team in the league. We're top of the division. We go on to Preston now at home, back in our backyard, then Birmingham, and realistically, we could get 6 points from that. Would he, based on today's result and the current look on the squad, would I be happy with 4? Yes, if I'm being totally honest. But you've got to win your home games. You want to win them. So yeah, I think we'll get 6. But if we get 4, I'm happy. I think we all will be. What I do want to touch on, and we sort of had a comment, and she does get involved quite a lot, so I just want to shout out Claire Wildwood on YouTube. She made a comment of saying, look, and you can't sum it up better, like if you were going to sum up the game and the result in one sentence, this is it, and she's put, given Leeds history at Millwall and their ever-expanding injury list, 1-1's a great result, and that's what it is, it's a great result. We've come away from there with a point, and as I keep going back, but we're still undefeated and we're still top of the league, so happy days. Make sure, as I say, it's not this one. This analysis hasn't probably been the best, hasn't been as in depth, and the reason being it was a nightmare to get a stream today. Guys who'll be watching this will understand. There was a stage, where the stream went off, and when I went back on, Harrison had put it back in the back of the net, so it was a bit of a nightmare today in terms of streams. But we'll have some better quality stuff for you coming up. As I say, make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you would like to comment in this video as well, please do. I do get quite a lot of comments. I enjoy reading them, both positive and negative. On Monday, we have Monday Night Football talk with myself. We'll cover all, anything further that comes out after this game and what we expect for the Tuesday game. And I'll reply to your comments, and I enjoy doing that, so make sure you do that. Tuesday, we should be meeting up with the Football Republic guys. I think they're doing a documentary on Bielsa, and they want us to get involved, so that's great stuff. Make sure you watch out for Oscar and Oscar's player ratings and his post-match, and also you'll have the ramblings of the South Stand, our boy Conor. Probably tomorrow now because he lives in Oz. But yeah, look out for all that stuff. Thank for the continued support. It means a lot. And all them ones, you know, travelling back from Bermondsey, South Bermondsey, you know, drive safely. Have a nice drive. Look after yourselves, and I will see you all very soon. Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.